All right. What cup are you filling? Alba's in here. How you doing, man? Best song indeed. Love it. 1 second. Just gotta do one thing. Santangelo will be joining in a few minutes. Admiral, I went away for the weekend. I'm sorry I didn't get the markers. I'm good, Alba. How you been? 1 second. I just have to get this invite sent over to Ramble Tangelo, and then we'll get cooking here in a second. How was everybody's weekend? I hope you guys had a good one. Enjoyed the games today. I don't know if anyone tuned in to the match between Inter and Fiorentina, and then Atalanta Sassuolo finished 2-1. So both of those sides picked up the 3 points. Napoli had the 3 points yesterday. So not much in Milan's direction in terms of results that will hold up well for them in the long run. So yeah, a second here. Also just have to pull up something. Orazio, how are you? Fiorentina did give it away. Joe, how you doing, brother? Where the hell is this? There we go. Our boy Ahmad hooked it up for us with the preview of the starting lineup. So we're just really going to we're basically just going through the one match that we have tomorrow against Venezia and all that stuff. Sabrina's in here. How are you, Sabrina? Fiorentina was toothless in the second. Listen, Inter's just a better side. You can't keep pressing and pressing like the way they did and just expect different results. Gonzalez lost his head. Inter had plenty of chances throughout. It wasn't really just the one opportunity that came there every now and then. This was a long-standing thing. This was coming, and if you were watching that match, Inter could have easily had 4 or 5 goals. So unfortunately, I don't think it was just Fiorentina. We kind of have to give some more credit. I'm going to have to disagree with you there, Admiral, with that. And Santangelo is here with us. How you doing, man?
What's going on?
Nothing. Just talking about some of the results today and yesterday. None really went our favor. But again, listen, I am willing to talk about the Juve match because we didn't get to do a preview for it. We have some time. We're only really going to be here for like around 40, 45 minutes today. The YouTube channel's up. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. It was published on Twitter, so we're over there. We got a few subs already. So yeah, your initial thoughts on the match versus Juve?
Well, first off, thanks for everyone for joining us. Of course, some things to catch up on regarding the Juventus game, as you mentioned. And the first half was not sharp. What's going on, Milan Globe? I see you on Twitter liking my stuff. Shout out to you. The first half wasn't that sharp. I thought Juve were definitely the better side. They got a quick goal. There was defensive lapse by Teo Hernandez and some great finishing, no doubt, by Morata on there. But I think that could have been definitely avoided. It was important to see the reaction that we saw in the second half, right? I think that Pioli referenced something like, we've only played, 24 to 30 minutes of actual football. Like we only played, that strong for that amount of minutes, which in my opinion, it's not acceptable. But having said that, I think seeing the sort of reaction and response in the second half was promising. Milan, had a lot of opportunity there, some solid work getting forward by Pierre Kalulu. If it wasn't for Wojciech Szczesny pulling out a good save there, perhaps Milan do get the victory in this one, which, if you ask Juventus fans, they probably feel like they lost. And Milan fans, although the score will say otherwise, feel like they got a victory here. Now, the way Milan have been playing, I want to say the past year and a half, for the most part, in these sorts of matches, we want to win here. Like in previous years, wow, we went to Turin and we got a draw, right? That would be pretty solid. But I think that the expectation now for Milan fans is we've taken a big step forward. Juventus have shown their vulnerability, right? So these are matches that I think Milan, going forward, want to definitely get victories from. but I'll take it, all things considered, with some of the injuries. Tomori, he didn't look too good at right back once he stepped in and shifted over to central defense after Simon Kjaer came out and Kalulu came in. He looked very comfortable, and that pairing between him and Romagnoli looked very sharp. The attack wasn't that great aside from Ante Rebic. Brahim had his moments, Leao as well. Salamakers wasn't too much involved. Tonali, what more can we say? Every week we're raving about this guy, and he puts forth another great performance. And guys, it's Tonali season, right? It's Tonali season. You talk about your pumpkin spice somewhere else. It's Tonali season. This guy needs to start every single match day. And look, he's taken massive steps forward compared to last year. And in my eyes, you can't sit him. He can't be scratched. If he's available to play, Pioli has to start him. He's been that good.
Yeah. Listen, overall, I think what it was the first half. And people want to blame whoever for the goal. It came down to two players in all reality. Teo Hernandez and Alexis Salmakers.
Yeah.
Teo did a terrible job. And then Alexis overcommits. And then at that point, Teo takes a terrible path to try and catch up to Morata. I was speaking to Pep Berisha about this. And I said to him, and he agreed with me, that path that he took to try and catch up to Morata was dumb. Every single time that Teo was getting close to him on that run, you see him slowing down as he's getting behind him. You have to speed up next to him. Like it's NASCAR, like you're in a race here. You got to go side by side. You can't simply try and approach it from the back because, one, you risk getting a red card because he's clear on goal. And then secondly, you're not going to have a clean chance. You're not Maldini, first of all. We know he's not capable of making these slide tackles from behind like Kjaer and Romagnoli both did in this game. That was poor on him. He still struggled, even though he did have a good pass to Kalulu that was obviously saved by Woj. I think he's been struggling. I think he obviously needs to sit one of these next two matches, Venezia or I believe it's Spezia, right? Yeah. The Zias that we were facing. So for me, I thought he was poor with that. Alexis, another poor performance. But the second half, it's a tale of two second halves. And how many times have we said this when Milan have played Juve since Pioli has arrived, right? And Ibra, okay? We drew them both in Coppa Italia. Both times. We only got eliminated because of the away goal situation. The match that we did lose to them was strictly because of the lineup that we put out there, which was really poor, and Juve deserved that win. Secondly, when we faced them at the San Siro, when we had that crazy comeback, and that was really the actual turning point that everyone agreed upon, was when Milan beat that Juve side with Sarri. That I think they scored the 4 goals out of nowhere, and it was a 4-2 finish. And then they go and beat them 3-0 at the Allianz Stadium. Then they get a draw after being down 1-0. They're not scared of them anymore. Yeah. They're ready to face them. This has been 2 occasions now in which they've been down, losing, and they come back and they get a result against Juve. That speaks volumes about where both these clubs are. And I'll say it straight up right now. Milan's better than Juve. It's been a long time coming, but the side is clearly better than the other. Whether or not we're better than Inter, Napoli is a different story, right? But it's clear to me at this point, regardless of what you tell me, they were just missing Chiesa at this point. Milan's missing their starting right back. They lose one of the best center backs in Serie A in this match. They don't have a pure striker. They have a right back that's playing terrible. Their left back was garbage. Yet, the only opportunity that Juve really had, Matt, in this entire match was simply on that counterattack. There was other situations where it was kind of dangerous within the 18-yard box area, but none of them clear on goal chances. I think there was like maybe a couple that Mike had to make saves on within that first half as well. But Matt, second half was pure domination by Milan. Yeah. And this was a side that was also playing against Juve, who were sitting back waiting for a mistake to happen. Classic Catenaccio, right? I think Juve's defense played well. Locatelli was boss. Straight up, Tonali outplayed him. Yeah. Kessie, poor match from him. My guy Benacer, have his jersey on right now. Awesome off the bench. He bounced back perfectly that you would have liked against what happened with Liverpool, right? Really poor from Kessie, like some mentioned. I thought he was subpar. But what could we say about the maniac Ante Rebic, Matt? I mean, almost every single big game occasion at this point, this guy steps up, whether he's getting assists, whether he's getting crucial goals off set pieces, open play. I mean, it's just been phenomenal.
I have some numbers for you on that too. because I'm putting together an article for Football Italia on
Look at the troll. Look at the troll here.
The Cristante tweet that you put out there. So I compiled the numbers, the appearances, the numbers in total minutes that Ante Rebic has played for Milan against top sides, right? Lazio, Roma, Inter, Juve, Atalanta, like those teams, right?
Yeah.
Don't hold me to these exact numbers, but he's got around 1,213 minutes.
Okay.
8 goals, 5 assists. That's in just Serie A competition only. That's not Copa. That's so he's averaging either a goal or assist or goal contribution every 93 minutes. So he's basically owning
it's nearly a game.
the reputation of being a big time performer. Now, he's been sort of Jekyll and Hyde. He's had this duality with his performances over the past couple of years, right? Slow start, good second half, right? I think his first season he had, the big goals he had against Udinese. That was a massive game where Milan made that surge into the top 4. They missed out. I think he had 10 or 11 goals in the second half that year. Last year, same thing. He battled some injuries, had a COVID case. Second half of the season, he had, I think, 10 or 11 goals. So if he's a player that maybe he won't be the guy in this team, right? Because I think Giroud and Ibrahimovic are still going to be the main guys, right? And in many ways, Brahim Diaz. But Rebic can be one of those versatile attacking assets where over a full season, can you expect this guy to be maybe 18 to 19 goal contributions? He's shown it. 11 goals, 10 goals, 5 assists, 6 assists. This is a player that is capable of this. In his final year at Eintracht Frankfurt, when it was Sebastian Haller and Luka Jovic getting all the love, 9 goals and 4 assists. So maybe this is where at age 27, 28, he becomes a more complete, refined player. Yeah. And that's a big boost if Milan can get that right now, because you don't know how the status of Ibrahimovic going forward. He's in and out. He's week to week, essentially.
Achilles issue lingering here.
If you can somehow get these sorts of performances up front from Ante Rebic, it takes a world of amount of pressure off the other guys because they know they have a guy who can produce the big goals in the big moments.
Yeah, and it's more than one guy at this point, and he's not scared of it. I mean, listen, and you're just talking about in Serie A, he scored at Anfield.
Yeah.
Cool, calm finish. Had a smart pass as well that led to the second goal. I think Brahim and Leao had adequate performances. In all seriousness, I don't think people could rip Leao. I think he did some good things there. Was it complete? No, obviously not. But also, we have to mention that Brahim Diaz is just thriving. So really happy with that performance from him. Ding Bob Cliff, I don't think you know how to spell out our. So if you want to do that, it's our O-U-R instead of A-R-E. So just in case next time you want to be wise about it. Good job. So yeah, all in all, someone asked the question, Matt, did Milan drop 2 points or did they gain a point? In my opinion, considering the lineup that was put out there, the environment that they went to go play in, I think Milan picked up a point. They didn't drop 2.
The more I think about it, like in the moment after the match ended, it felt to me that they got a point, right? For all the reasons that you just mentioned. But the more I dissected the second half performance, I felt that the win was there. And to kind of support that, you look to the reaction and the sort of feeling that Max Allegri had in the postgame, right? I don't have the exact quote, but in so many words, he stormed off the field and he said, "These guys want to play for Juventus." Like Juventus didn't do anything in the second half.
Third straight coach to allude to that point. Sarri mentioned it, alluded to it.
Yeah.
Pirlo had some comments as well. And now you have Allegri saying it. And he also mentioned as well, Matt, if this game kept going, they were going to lose.
Yeah.
Milan was really going at them within the final minutes. I think Florenzi had an opportunity with a cross. Gotta say, my guy that I've always hyped up. I love him. A lot of people love him on Milan Twitter. And it's not just me. But Pierre Kalulu, man. What a goddamn boss he is, man. But that is difficult to put up in that situation. Your season debut there. Again, the kid has under 1,000 minutes within his career. Goes into that environment. Not only is solid, he was above average. He was argue he was the better fullback on the day out of our two fullbacks.
Mhm.
I just think he's been a beast. And the growth again, like we mentioned, Brahim and Kush was just saying in the comments, hello, by the way, Kush will be back on with us next Tuesday. I think, again, that's another player showing the growth.
Mhm.
And now, again, when we're in that situation where Pioli might go to Tomori, Matt, he knows he can now trust Pierre Kalulu to go there. Because how many other opportunities or situations that Kalulu is going to be in that were tougher than that? Not many, right? Especially within the league. So I think he's clearly played himself into that spot where he could be the backup right back now. And Florenzi can go in multiple spots.
And I want to reference that too. I think that's a testament to the job Pioli's done with a lot of these younger players, because it's never easy, right? From a veteran standpoint, you've been around the game enough to know that you have to be ready when your name is called, and you have to be able to come in and step into those positions. We've seen it with Giroud over the years, a guy that maybe is in and out of the starting equation, but when he comes on, he's going to do the job, and you're not going to skip a beat. It's harder for young players to do that because they're not getting the continuity week to week. And Kalulu did this last year in a pinch where his debut came off the bench and in a position he's not really known for. I know some people say he can play as a central defender, and maybe he can in certain moments, but most consider him a right back. I think it was against Parma where he comes in off the bench and says, here's your debut. Come off the bench and play in the central defense. Yeah. So it's a testament to a young player totally ready position for the moment. And we see once again why Rudy Garcia, why Juninho, the people at Lyon were upset and regretful to lose a player of this caliber, because he was ready to make that sort of integration into their first team. But Maldini and Mazzara made it abundantly clear of how much they valued him and that he had a spot on Milan. And when you get that Paolo Maldini vote of confidence from a fullback position, Teo Hernandez can speak to it. I'm sure Davide Calabria can speak to it. There's something about that really energizes you and motivates you. And I see that with Pierre Kalulu. He plays with a confidence. He's not flashy. He's not braggadocious. He's not that sort of flamboyant type player, but he believes in himself, and you can see it when he comes out on the field.
Yeah. Cliff, I totally get your point. I don't think you're wrong. I think I would just disagree and give some more credit to Woj. I mean, the shot was on target. It's not the easiest of angles. He came up at the perfect time. And you know what? I thought Woj had a pretty good game. In all seriousness, I think he stepped up and played well, and it wasn't too many opportunities like that. I think what ultimately cost Juve was not enough chances in the second half, and that midfield it's woeful. It just it's subpar. I don't even man, there isn't many words to say at this point as to where it is. I think Locatelli will eventually be fine, but man, I think there's more issues than we'd like to lead on with that. So yeah, that was a preview there. I thought it was good. I think only Chilis disagreed with it. So yeah, let's get to tomorrow's match. Big one. We're facing two of our fellow Americans tomorrow. Gianluca Puccio being one of them, had an assist over the weekend. I don't know if you saw that. I'm sure you did, Matt. So happy for him. This is a projected 11 that we have. Shout out to Ahmad once again, as always. Yeah, it's interesting here. So when people come at this lineup, Matt, I think a lot of people, and I mentioned this yesterday, I think Benacer deserves to get the start. That's one thing, right? We can rotate with some of the midfielders now because Frank is healthy at the moment. There's two things here. We have Atletico midweek next week, right, in the Champions League match. We also have a weekend match on Saturday. There needs to be some rotation here where you rather play more of your starters within the game that's now on a Wednesday as opposed to the one on Saturday, because they're more likely to be tired after the match on Saturday. So I think it's pretty obvious to me that he wants to play the starters now. Kier should be good by the time of the Atletico match. I'm sure Tomori and Romagnoli, there's rumors now that Gabbia could step in for Tomori. He gets the rest, which I am totally okay with. This is a more than adequate enough team for this. I think you're going to see a good bulk of minutes go to Daniele Maldini. I do think Florenzi will get more minutes featured at the right wing. I think Pietro Pellegrini makes his debut for Milan. And yeah, I think you're going to see the same formation. Kalulu earns the start, especially after what he did at Juve. Tonali, like you said, cannot bench the kid. He's probably not going to play the full match out of the two midfielders, right? Because you would put Kessie on there and you need Tonali for the
Maybe
weekend
Krunic
fixture.
comes in. Krunic is proven
if he's healthy. Is he healthy for it?
We'll see. We'll see how that plays in. But I think Tonali winds up playing 65 to 70 minutes. That seems like about what he would play. I'm interested to see if it's not tomorrow against Venezia or on the weekend versus Spezia, when we see Junior Messias get his debut, right? Because I think these are the types.
They said he's been completing
some training, some final preparation.
He might be ready by Saturday, if anything.
I'm hopeful he is, because I think
they need it.
I think, let's face it, Salamaker's, yes, he's our starting right winger, but I think there is something to be said about having that intra-squad competition and someone to really press him. And it's obviously not going to be Samu, because Samu really hasn't. He got a couple minutes at the end of, I think, the first or second match day, but Messias, they brought him in for a reason. And I think this would be a perfect example or perfect time for you to play him. A player that, like Venezia are newly promoted. He's come from Crotone. Like, he should be able to assert himself in a match like this, get 20 to 30 minutes, maybe not this match day, on the weekend. So I'm curious to see someone like him in the coming weeks. But getting back to Gabbia, I think it's important, right? We touched upon Kalulu getting that opportunity. We've seen some of these other young players get that role in the 11. Let's get Gabbia out there, because he is your fourth choice central defender, and he's still very young. And I think there's still opportunity for him to grow into a fine player.
He had some good minutes over the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was always dreadful. Like we talked about, like what we saw from Kalulu and some people like that. Gabbia put in better minutes when he was playing, when he stepped in, when Romagnoli had some injuries. He was the guy to do that.
Yeah.
And you know what? He has some qualities. He's not an awful passer in terms of long balls. We've seen that. As much as Kirk as Jay-Z, like, that'd be cool. But again, it would be Torre be the one to do that. There was one more thing I wanted to there was one comment. Oh, yeah, just Admiral, just really quick, just want to let you know. So we stream it privately on YouTube now, but we're always live on Twitch for pre-match, regular podcasts, except for the post-matches on everything. But it's private right now, but it will be uploaded and made public not too long after we're there with that. I agree Teo needs some rest as well. CK, Gabbia was solid. He's not like Rugani. Oh, he does pretty well. Rugani catching strays, my man. So let's talk about the opposition for a little bit, Matt. You alluded to it. Everyone knows. Great jerseys, beautiful. Still not better than this one. I grabbed it out of my closet today. I'm like, this thing is gorgeous. It's like my favorite one that I've ever bought. Very young side in Venezia, right? If there's another young side within this league as opposed to ours, it's them. They don't have much experience. You highlighted it on Twitter. You talk about it often. Other podcasts, when we did Serie A preview on State to Play with Joe Usello. This is where Milan can come through and they have to dominate. This is one of those games where it's like, all right, must win, right? Exactly what you did against Cagliari, you have to do against Venezia. I think there's more than enough quality here. I think you see a guy like Rafael Leao step up and score. I think Teo Hernandez, absolutely zero excuses, has to have a top game if he starts. Has to. There's no excuse for this. He has to find his space. He has to be aggressive, and he has to be wise with his challenges. And Alexis Salamakers as well. You have to be elite pressing with this man. You have to. There's no excuses for it. You have to turn up. He usually turns up in matches like this. He has the quality to do it, even though, again, as I've said many a times, I still don't think he is the guy that at all to start within a Champions League side on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I absolutely agree there. Try to buy that jersey. I could. What that say? I'm sorry, I missed that.
I said try to buy the Milan jersey that you have. Maybe Alba meant me. I don't know. You don't have a jersey on you now, or the sweatshirt, which is sick.
Oh yeah, no. This is.
Is he really?
I got this as soon as it came out last year. If that's what you're referring to, of course. But yeah, I look the one fear or a couple concerns I maybe have with this, and maybe not so much like high grade concerns, but things I'm kind of playing out in my mind and things I'm kind of pondering is the midweek game, right? Obviously, some of these teams with tired legs, maybe Venezia gets up for this. They have their home crowd. They're playing a team like Milan. That's a big opportunity for some of these players to show up, show out against a top side and a big side at that. Two, does Pioli run the risk of over rotating? Now I know he has to rotate, but sometimes there's trying to find that balance of, yes, I need to get other guys in there, but I don't want to over rotate to the point where I don't get the full result I need to from this match. Those are two things that are kind of playing out in my mind, right? So as you mentioned, I think there's an adequate side here, enough to certainly handle Venezia. No discredit to them. I mean, they're in Serie A for a reason. They deserve it, but they're not really showing me much over the handful of games I've seen from them. A team that has maybe some players in individual moments. I know they had an interesting game last week against Spezia where they can pull out sort of some pretty nice goals, but I think Milan needs to handle them. And I think they have this sort of reputation now where their next guys up that are going to come in, I feel will be ready for the moment and they'll put forth a good performance. And it'll be one of those instances where you kind of give a little bit of a breather to some main guys. You look to the weekend and then, hopefully Teo can return to form and be on his best in his clash against his brother next week.
His brother doesn't play for Atletico.
Lucas Hernandez?
Plays for Bayern, guy.
Oh, my goodness.
Mark that up. The very, very, very rare Santangelo slip-up.
Yeah, that's bad.
You're good.
That's what I thought.
Pasta-gate level. It's not Pasta-gate level, but you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I mean, he came from them, though?
Correct.
Yeah,
you did transfer from Atletico.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah.
The connection made sense. Don't worry about it. Would have been awesome.
We still need Teo back for the match, regardless.
Yes. A couple people think it's over rotation, but it's necessary. It really is. Like, you can't not do it. Like, you have to pick your spots. And also, like, over rotation, when we say this, it's not always about this guy starts, he's playing 90 minutes. It's not what it is. You can play 50, 60 minutes. The replacement comes on, gives it a good 30. 30 minutes is a lot of time, right? A lot of time. And especially when you can get some rest in between. I think Kalulu, not worried about it. Romagnoli and Gabbia, they've played together before. Not really worried about it. Jay-Z, I didn't get a chance to watch Atletico's game, but I saw a ton of people on the timeline talking about it. I just think, you have to pick your spots. I truly see the ball. Mark, sorry. I think this. Ultimately, what everything comes down to at the same time is trusting Pioli to push the right buttons within these matches. He did fine with it last year. There were certain situations where he was forced to do more than he would have liked to, right? We're not talking about Mete up as the number 10. That's not the situation we're talking about here. We're talking about probably Daniele Maldini getting heavy minutes. He's getting in at the end against Juve. He's getting in at the end against Liverpool. You could only imagine the amount of minutes that he's going to get against Venezia. I am so interested. I'm genuinely fascinated to see what he brings. I really am. Like, this is a serious role for him. This isn't anything that you say, okay, he's just training with the first team, kind of like what he was in recent years, just like Colombo and guys like that, where the opportunities are few and far between. This is serious. These are real Serie A minutes.
Yeah.
They're heavy. He's played in the Champions League already. Whether or not it's in the final few minutes, he's there for that. You hear players talk about him and his technical ability. We haven't fully seen what he can give at the professional level yet. Seen plenty of great highlights from the Primavera. Had a good goal against Monza, I believe, in last year's preseason. I'm rooting so hard for him. I just think he's a massive question mark. And the pressure of the situation and the gravity of it, Matt, I hope it doesn't get to him. Not only because of his last name, because of the team he's playing for. And the position is vital. It's one of the main creator roles within the side. You have to produce. Last name or not, it's still Milan. So
Mhm.
I truly hope he has a good match or a good amount of minutes whenever he rotates in here. And unfortunately, as well, guys, I think we see spaghetti legs within the next 2 matches. I think they have
Probably.
no choice, which I'm rooting for.
You're rooting for that?
Well, I have to root for him. I don't listen.
You're hoping we see him, or you're just supporting him because he's
I'm
wearing a
supporting
jersey?
him when he comes
Yeah.
on the field.
No, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I say that now.
But that's why I think everyone in the comments is probably hoping that let's see Macias come back. Like, when's this guy ready? Because they know that if he comes in, it's essentially him and Salamakers in a rotation, right? So you could say my Twitch name. Yeah, I just a little bit more of a preview of this game. I'm just very cautious against some of these teams that are playing at home and their smaller sides. That's all. I mean, I know that Milan should handle them. I shouldn't be concerned too much, but I'm almost at this point a little bit more concerned about these matches than I am against the bigger sides. I think that Milan have played tough and tight against a lot of the bigger sides. Are you going to get that team that kind of steps in midweek like we saw last year, right? With Udinese and Spezia, and get results from Milan? Like, that's what we can't have happen. So I agree with you. I think the expectation has to be that Milan play in a similar fashion to that of what we saw in the Cagliari game. There's no doubt about that. But I'm always just a little bit more cautious because these teams at home say, hey, it's Milan. Like, if we can find a way to get an early goal, we're going to park the hell out of that bus and we're going to sit and defend. And they got fans there. And again, they're playing Milan. So it's just something to keep in mind.
I just don't think we can have a concrete opinion on Maldini yet, guys. I just think it's unfair. We just really can't. We can't speak for it. We can only judge off of what we've seen. Is he this blue chip prospect that everybody loves and adores? No, he doesn't even have the same hype that Hashim Mastord had. Doesn't matter. I think he was also still within the squad because you need homegrown players, and we've seen it again today. Colombo, if anyone saw the video, great goal by him. And that was a wise move to loan him out. He needed that experience. Maldini has come up as a 10. He's a central attacking midfielder.
He's played wide a couple times in friendlies.
He's a 10. Both sides. But he's a central player, very technical. I think he's physically strong enough and prepared for Serie A. I think that's been BS. It came from the same garbage source that said Origi for Rebic in January. You can tell you're true when you fear Venezia more than Juve. All right, guys. So January market too soon, Crispy, too soon. So yeah, I think ultimately Kessie stuff. I don't know. Is he in his own head? Maybe. Still had a good game versus Lazio. Match versus Liverpool, everyone was really poor for the majority. Match against Juve, poor. Really, I was more shocking and disappointed with the Juve match than I was with the Liverpool one. The Liverpool one is a little bit more understandable.
Poor by his standards and for the standards of someone asking what he's asking, right? Like the context is key there because there are certain performances where it's like, oh, Kessie was okay. Was he okay, or was he okay, or relative to what he's currently getting paid? Yeah. Because if that's the performance he's going to put in, asking what he's asking, then he was poor. Yeah, let's call it like that. And look, I don't want to project too far into the future, but there's a reason why they got Yassin Adli. There's a reason why they got him.
Assist over the weekend. Good job.
Over the weekend, I think someone put out a comp. I mean, I know comps are, everyone has their feelings about comps, but he looks good. Like, this guy's mobile, can pass. He looks like a very smooth player. They got him for 10 million euros, so there's a reason why they got him. With the anticipation that maybe one of these guys is sold for a big profit. I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. These players, if Kessie and Benacer and these guys don't perform, the mindset that I've seen from this Milan management is they'll flip you for a profit, and they'll get someone in who can play and do the job at a fraction of the cost.
We haven't been good with the profit. But yes, I get what you're saying.
We haven't, but you get the point, right?
Of course. Pobega playing well as well.
Yeah.
Great point, sure. Like, and the rumor has been, I haven't been able to catch too many of the Torino games, but they're trying to deploy him in that double pivot. Again, we said it when he was loaned out. Okay, if he's getting loaned out, I'm fine with Torino, and I'm fine with Ivan Juric developing him. He's doing a great job. Did well with Di Marco. Did well with Zaccagni. Obviously, and Lovato with Verona. I think he's going to do a good job. Be a key player in returning next year. And guys, listen, look what happened already. These guys are going to get their minutes. They're going to be rotating in because of these matches like this, right? So again, it doesn't necessarily mean when you get players like this that you sell off other players. There's always insurance. You need to be deep. Look how deep a team like Liverpool is, right?
Yeah.
Look how deep Juve used to be. Look how deep even Inter is at this point, right? They might not be as strong as an 11 as they were last year, but you could argue they're a deeper team now with more quality. So yes. Let's see. I think that there was one more comment that I wanted to get to. The injuries thing. Okay, so Krunic injured on international duty, not their fault. Bakayoko gets injured in a game. What can you do? The Giroud thing had COVID, then the back issue. That's on Milan. Ibra, nearly 40 years of age. I mean, come on. The rest, listen, programs for Pellegrini, Junior Messias. Those guys need to come along so they don't get injured in the longer term. Calabria, that's one sustained in training. That's another issue. Listen, I said it, screenshot of what I've said, Matt. The training staff should have been fired into the sun. It's the power and strength coaches. It's the health staff as well with the recuperation and how soon these players return from injury is very poor. And that's something Milan should have changed. So, yeah. I think we kind of listen. It's annoying. We always have to do it, but we have to address kind of the racist situation that happened with Mike Maignan, and it also happened with Bakayoko after the match against Lazio. We weren't able to talk since then. This has been 2 straight weeks now. One a recurring fan base and group of fans. And again, we discussed this with Sean, and I feel bad for Sean because Sean again has to stand up for his club when it's not the club's fault. Bakayoko, the Mike Maignan, Frank Kessie again. This is just a straight up embarrassment and a joke that nothing has been done as of yet. They found the guy already from the Juve match.
Piece of shit. I'm gonna say it.
He's a piece of shit. He's garbage. He's a loser. He's a scumbag. And what he did is now broadcasted throughout the world because he thought it was funny to go upload it into a WhatsApp chat. Gets exposed. They find, hey, by the way, guys, I'll just let you know right now. I don't care if I'm unprofessional or not. I found his Instagram. I DM'd him, and I told him to go F himself. So I have no regrets about that. No worries at all. He deserved it. He's scum of the highest order. FIGC has to put their foot down. It has to. You have to. Lifetime ban. That's it. Set the precedent. If this lingers and continues, then fines have to roll out. I just don't. I don't want to be harsh. And Sean also made the point, Matt, that listen, clubs shouldn't pay for the price of this, but what's it going to take for it? Right?
Yeah.
Right? This is a systemic thing. It's not just the football fans. It's within the country itself. It's around the world itself. It's the way you're raised as a person and what is deemed acceptable in certain households and societies. It's not acceptable. This is 2021. How many times we have to talk about this where we're talking about this team is ass backwards? Not the team, sorry. The league and the country is ass backwards in many facets of life. It angers me because, Matt, we've been doing podcasts since the summer of 2017. I am almost losing fingers on my hands on the amount of times we've had to discuss this topic and discuss the topic about our players, by the way, which happens far too often to Milan players. For whatever the reason, it's not, we can't dig deep into it. Happens to a ton of black players. It's disgraceful. Juve has already launched their own investigation to it. I'm sure they'll do something about that. Mike released a statement about it. You can go check it out on his Twitter. He released it in French, Italian, and English. If you speak all those languages, obviously, for the most part, everyone in here speaks English. I thought it was a powerful statement. I thought it's what needed to be said. Bakayoko's made statements as well. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Like, you have to it comes down to point deduction, honestly. Like, I'm for it. I'm for it. Even if it was Milan fans doing this, where it's repeat offenses, take the points away. You don't care about yourself. You don't care about not going to games. How about your fans then in your club? How about it comes down to the point where fans are not allowed into the stadiums, right? And not only that, your club is going to hurt from it, and your club isn't going to win. If that's what it takes, then I'm there for it. Because we can't just draw the line and say, you know what, I want to draw the line where my club is affected by this. Then what's it going to take? Then that's almost like condoning it in a sense. Not saying everyone does.
Yeah,
it's goddamn pathetic, and these people are just they're scum of the highest order. And the sickening part about all this, Matt, I'm not sure if you saw the video and all this stuff. The guy is like proud of it, of what he did.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say his name because he doesn't deserve that. Scumbag. It's just scumbag is a loser.
At this point, I'm tired. Obviously, we're all tired of having to have this conversation, but it's necessary, right? Because I think we have to shed light on it and bring it to the attention for people who don't know. This is something I actually saw the video. I think it was shared by Milan and a couple other Milan accounts. Circulated the video. It's inexcusable. It has no place, not only in sport, not only in football, but just the world, society today. And I agree with you. I think there's got to be some more stricter, harsher punishment, so it sends a message to these clubs. Now you kind of have this tricky situation here because on one end, it wasn't so much what are you going to go to Juve and dock them points. The guy pretty much was publicly admitting that he did it and was proud of it, which is cowardly to begin with. The fact that he, obviously did this, but the fact that he's owning it and he's proud of what he's done and the effect he's had on this. It's not a Juventus thing. It's not a singular club thing. And I just find it odd too, because Juventus a couple seasons ago had Moise Kean, he had racial chants and things hurled at him.
And then that dirty snake rat condoned it.
Yeah.
In Bonucci.
Yeah. And it's even a couple years ago with Roma, with Chris Smalling and Lukaku, right? They both, they kind of came together.
With the news, that was a news publication. It was a newspaper that did that. I forget which one it was.
And then there's so many things where it's like there's people they just don't know the harm they're causing.
No.
People trying to say they're in support of Lukaku and they have paint on them. Like read the room.
Some Napoli fans.
It's
tone deaf. It's
disgusting. And I'm hoping in my lifetime, and that's not saying much, but damn, I'll say it. I'm hoping in my lifetime that the Italian Federation and those at the top of making these decisions regarding these sorts of things take a firm stance against this. It's despicable. It's disgusting. It has simply no place. Obviously, as a Milan community, we totally stand with Bakayoko. We totally stand with Mike Maignan. Love these guys. These are our own players. And Kessie as well. These are our own players, and we're going to stand with them throughout this entire thing. But, we got to take a stand. The league's got to take a stand. And that's sport has to take a stand against this.
And that's for any player within the league, too, that suffers this stuff. It's not just, obviously, this is the Milan podcast, so we're discussing that. But just to make that clear. Connor, I kind of get the point deduction is a slippery slope. You're probably just saying like lifetime ban is what you mean. Listen, lifetime ban, easy call. Easy call. You're a grown-ass man.
That's in England. There's been instances where the guy just they identify him and he's
what's ever the excuse to say the N-word? And they're like, you're a grown-ass man, you scumbag, you loser. Like there's no excuse. There's no excuse. Lifetime ban. Enjoy it.
The way I know a lot of these guys are professionals and they have a way maybe of handling and carrying themselves to the point where they can brush these things off. But watching that video and seeing Mike Maignan like train and have the performances that he's put in, especially against Juve.
And he had a good match too.
Like I'm proud to call this guy my goalkeeper. I'm proud that he is representing this club. And I'm proud to have him. I'm happy with the performances he's put in. And
awesome.
Again, this guy is a true leader. And I said, we stand with him. We stand with everyone that has to deal with this.
Thanks, Admiral. That was the one referring to Smalling and Lukaku. So before we wrap up here, we just want to have you guys get your predictions on it, and we'll just tell you everything that you need to know in terms of stuff in upcoming podcasts and what you need to do. September is still continuing, so if you have not subscribed to the page already, feel free to do so. If you have a Twitch Prime account, it is free. If not, it's September, so 20% off the amount that subs cost. At the very least, we always ask everyone who stops by to watch the stream to follow us and simply drop us that. That's free. We're over 600 followers. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube page. It's just Milan Reports. It's been on the Twitter account that was put out there. So just go over there. You go find that. And you can
try and get us to 100. Maybe 50 before that.
100. We got 100. We don't have enough people in here to get us to 100 at the current moment, but we're hoping all 33 of you, one of them is including myself on my other computer right now, but all 32 of you to sign up, go subscribe.
Before the Atletico Madrid game. Before the
Atletico Madrid game where Lucas Hernandez and Theo Hernandez face off. It's just you gotta have to give me a second then, Alba, because it's literally just Milan Reports.
Yeah.
Let me know if you got this. That's easier for people. Matt, do you want to give your own opinion or prediction for this match while I pull this all up?
I'm going to go 2-0 Milan. I think Maignan gets back to clean sheet ways. I think Gabbia, if he does play, puts forth a good performance. I'm not going to go as heavy as a victory as you guys are. I think Milan are going to have a professional victory where some players maybe don't look that good or as sharp. They're a little bit tired, but others who have been playing well, continue to play well, put forth good performances, and Milan keep it moving into the weekend. So I'm going 2-0 Milan. I'm actually going to go Leao goal, and I'm going to go Brahim goal.
2-1 Cliff. Brahim goal. I liked him. Brahim score a goal. That'd be nice. Honestly, really want Pellegrini to come on and score. If you can get me a 3-1 win where Leao, Pellegrini, and Maldini score, have a great day for the brand. We're going to be here on tomorrow after the match. Preview for the match on Friday against Venezia as well. And then obviously the match against Atletico next week. Kush will be on with us. We'll try and see if we can get Miguel and Sabrina on for tomorrow. Really appreciate everyone that hops in here. Pellegrini going 2-0. Rebic, Brace, and Diaz from Derek. Be great for Rebic to just keep on coming along.
Derek pop up in the past couple months, unless I'm not paying attention. But
Admiral, it's not a
no Texas Groove. Looking for Texas Groove.
Texas has been in here. He's been in here.
Okay, there was a couple ones. I see you, Texas. And we got to make sure.
We
slippery slope there, guys. We're not going to get into those sorts of things.
It's enough said. No comment on it, but he won't be on it.
But if there's specific guests that you guys want on for
you could let
Inter, Atalanta, whoever, just let us know and we'll see if we can arrange.
Honestly, only really like 2 to 3 people that are not welcome on here, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So really, it's really not a big thing. It's a simple thing of respect and a lot of lack of it from certain people. Thanks, Joe. Novier and Kessie, Magnan, PK goal. Thanks, Milan Globe. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate all the work that you do as well.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, and also, really thank Connor. Connor does a great job. Wedgie says he's been tuning in and watching, so shout out to Wedgie. Shout out to Ahmad as well, making these graphics. Kush, subscribe to Kush's channel, subscribe to Miguel's channel. We could try with Bonetti. I was talking to Marco Messina today. He says he's been interested in collabing, so we'll see what we could do with that. Maybe we even have Cliff on eventually for the second Juve match.
If Cliff is good, he behaves.
Cliff's good. Cliff. Listen, Cliff. I know we bust his chops, but Cliff is one of the good ones out there. He might be. He might suck up a little too much from time to time. We've had Steve on before. Vinny's just not been able to from Milan Weekly. Love those guys. Presidente's been on as well. But yeah, tune in to Cliff and I. Going to be on his spaces around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do know that, what do you call it? Not only him, what was I going to say? Your Sirius XM thing.
Yes.
Plug that in case people have that as well. That's soonish, right?
6:45? Yeah, 6:25 p.m. Eastern Time, so New York time. I will be on Sirius XM FC. I don't know the exact channel. I think it's like 154 Sirius XM with Tony Miola and Brian Dunseth to discuss everything Serie A. Of course, we'll be talking Milan. I think Tony Miola is a big Milan fan, so me and him see eye to eye there. But yeah, just come join us if you're a subscriber. And as always, follow me on Twitter at Santangelo, and look out for some more content over the next couple of days from Football Italia as well.
Yep. Bonucci. Thank you, Derek, as always. Yes. It's a fun gaming chair. I do game a lot. Bonetti, maybe. I don't know. Guy's always busy. Talk to him from time to time. He's been on State of Play a few times. Probably going to have him back on one of the spots. But it would be great to have a Milan fan in there. Anything else, really? That's pretty much it. You could follow the Twitter account at MilanReportsCom. Go follow Vito at Vito Angele. Go follow Matt at Matt_Santangelo. Go follow me at Martino Puccio. I'm very close to 2,900 followers. I should have a good chance of getting to 3,000 very soon, which would be amazing. Appreciate all the support there. I have nothing else really to say, though. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you to everyone who voted for us in the FCAs at State of Play Pod.
Yes.
Follow us there, subscribe, Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. We should get the results as to whether or not we won, but regardless if we win or not, we just want to thank you guys for showing that love, listening, subscribing, and just casting those votes to help us get to this position.
Yeah, really appreciated. Regardless of what happens, it's just all about the support and all the people who tune in, even on this podcast.
Hope to add another one of these, maybe a trophy instead of a little frame, but hope to add another one of these little things here.
Hey, Admiral, watch it, guy. Yeah, no. And listen, also just I think it should just be said in general and what's happening. It's like sometimes there's a lot of banter and stuff on Twitter, but also like some of the things like people say in there, like you carry a lot of weight and you don't know how people really handle it, and you shouldn't be saying and treating people poorly. You should, like, there's one thing you have a disagreement, but and I've been guilty of it, but I'm not an instigator. If someone says something bad about me and goes after me, I'm coming back to bite. That's just what I do. And I'm not going to shy away from that because I stand up for myself and I don't like bullies. And like Zach Randolph once said, bullies get bullied. So if you want to start and do stuff like that to people, they're going to come back at you. But just always remind to just treat people right. Sabrina, you're 100% right with this. It's been an extremely toxic place lately, but I like to think that everyone in here has been awesome. Yeah. Outside when Carlos is a jackass sometimes about Sandro Tonali, but we always appreciate and like him. So again, you guys are all great. Everyone's very respectful. Cliff included, even just being a Juve fan. It just means a lot. You just support each other. We're all rooting for the same sport. You don't have to hate on one another just because someone, says something that you don't like. If it's not anything disrespectful, then who cares?
Yeah.
Like if this person isn't insulting someone, let it go, right? So Italians in your pasta. Listen, man, if people know, I'll say right now on the record, I don't really eat pasta. I have pasta every now and then for like penne alla vodka. I don't eat it.
That's something I have.
I don't even have it.
Like
I don't care.
I like it.
To name it. I'm also American. You know how many we're American. You know the kind of fat ass foods that we have over here.
Yeah. I had buffalo wings and pizza on Sunday during NFL games.
We're in the Northeast. We have literally everything up here.
Yeah,
it's quality stuff. Hate you have for the fashion icon is acceptable. What fashion? Who's that? Is this Samu? It's probably him. Oh, also shout out, congratulations to good friend Mark Galliani at his first child. I don't know if anyone follows him.
Congratulations.
Sophia was born, so he probably doesn't watch this, but I just want to say good vibes out there for everyone. Portions in the U.S. are massive, but I think that's pretty much it. We will be back here tomorrow after the match against Venezia. Hopefully it's a cracking win. Admiral was Samu. Listen, I hate on Samu, the type of player that he is, not the person. Seems like a decent guy from all I can say. So yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much. Check it out on the YouTube channel. If you came in a little bit late, watch the full podcast. Other than that, we will